Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? My name is Tony Rizano, and welcome to episode 126 of the world famous, universally loved affiliate party podcast. We are coming to you live today. Today is Wednesday, November the 18th. Okay. How's your week? It's hump day, everybody. Hump day. Yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm full of spunk today, okay? I'm full of energy. Today, on this podcast, on this great podcast that you listen to on a daily basis and you download every day, and I appreciate you for downloading every day. Did you know, since this podcast has started, after about the first 30 days, I believe I might have had 1 or 2 downloads in the first 30 days. We are well over 1,000 downloads, okay? And for a podcast and for a podcast with no fanfare, nobody looking for it. Nobody. That is great. So, we got a long way to go. We got a long battle. It's not even a long battle. We're just going to keep giving you the great content and we're going to expose it to more people and tell more people about it. And more people will come. This will be a big time party. Of course, the name will be changed by that time. But, for the time being, the people listening, they can always say, hey, I was there when this podcast was just the affiliate party podcast, okay? When this guy couldn't even make up his mind about what he wanted the name to be of the podcast. Well, today, we are going to talk about supply and demand. We are going to talk about scarcity. We are going to talk about all that good stuff. Okay? Now, yesterday, my wife, as you well know, my beautiful wife, Kia, is a chef. She owns a culinary school, which, if you know anybody in the greater Atlanta area, please, from your 3-year-old to an adult, you can sign up for a cooking class, you can sign up for a private lesson, birthday parties, whatever. The Young Chefs Academy of Sandy Springs is a great place to go and learn about culinary. Anyway, that's a little plug. That's a little plug for my baby. But no. So she has this gingerbread house decorating event that she's gonna do next month. So of course she's been going around looking for gingerbread houses, and of course gingerbread houses at Costco this year have been selling out more than ever. You know why? Because more people are stuck in the house, of course. So the demand for the gingerbread houses that went up. But of course, the people at Costco, unlike the past, the people at Costco are saying this year, once we sell out, that's it. No more gingerbread houses. So this has created a demand, and my wife has been going around and around and around, looking, searching. She's like looking for a needle in a haystack. And of course, today she found some. She was going to pick up some. They had like 40 of them. She went to the place. They was bringing them out to the car, and the guy was driving a forklift. And of course, what did he do? He dropped all of them. Boom. So the one place in Atlanta that she could go, they dropped them. So now the supply has went from very little to kaput. So now my wife, they have some in Augusta, Georgia. If you know anything about Atlanta, Augusta is like 2.5 hours. So now my wife, and in order for her to get the supply that she needs, has to drive 2.5 hours, 3 hours to Augusta, Georgia. I don't know what the hell they got in these gingerbread houses, but the company that makes these gingerbread houses are raking in some money, because they have basically said, this is it. First come, first serve, first go. Now, I bet you wish, say if you had a course and you said only 100 people can get this course. I'm selling this course for $5,000. And people wanted to get their little grubby hands on your course. They wanted to learn from you. 100 people times 5,000 is a lot of cabbage, ladies and gentlemen. How can you create supply and demand like these Costco, these, what's the name of the company? Create a Treat gingerbread houses. How can you create supply and demand like that? Well, sometimes you have to use scarcity tactics. What do I mean by scarcity? Say if you build an audience, you build a pipeline full of customers, audience, however you want to call them, followers, however you want to call it, and you say, hey, I have a workbook for everybody. The first 100 people that buys my course will get whether it be a phone call, a workbook, a t-shirt, anything like that. If you say the first 100 people, and you mean the first 100 people, it's not one of those, you know how people do the little countdown or whatever, and they do the little countdown on the course, on the, what's the word I'm looking for? What's the word I'm looking for? The infomercial, not an infomercial, but the training, the program, the workshop, whatever the hell they call it. You know what I mean? When they say, hey, this thing is going to happen at 3 o'clock. And it's not going to happen anymore. Then, of course, it's another one at like 5 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you know. But their seminar, not seminar, but their, it don't matter. But, yeah, if you create a real scarcity, if you go, hey, the first 100 people that buy my course for $7.99, they will get a t-shirt or a phone call from me, something like that. If you say 100, the first 100 people, you know, people line up and they race to get the course. They've been waiting on your course. You've been pre-selling them, because you know a part of selling is pre-selling. You've been pre-selling them. You've been telling them, hey, this course is coming. The course is coming. The course is coming. The course is here. You give them a little. I'll give you an example. I remember Russell Brunson had a book coming out, the Traffic Secrets book. And for like a month or two or whatever, he would say, hey, at such and such time, I'm going to read a part of my book. And people would sign up or whatever. People would be like, I can't wait for you to read the book or whatever, blah, 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 blah. And then he had all these people saying, hey, be an affiliate to the book. Top 3 people or whatever gonna get this, gonna get that, you know. So he created a lot of buzz, a lot of hype around his book. And one thing was like, he would say, hey, I'm gonna read the book this at this time, and that's it. I'm not gonna read this part of the book ever again. So get on the Zoom or whatever, you know, get on the Zoom or whatever at this time. And so that's what they call scarcity. It's like, hey, I'm running this program once, I'm not gonna do it again. Or I'm running this class once, I'm not doing it again. I'm not gonna do a replay. You can do that. That'll help. I'm not saying do it all the time, but you definitely want to create a supply and demand for your product. You know, it's important. Then when you create a nice supply and demand, like, it's not a lot of supply out there, but it's a lot of demand. You can charge what you want to charge then, you know, because people will buy no matter what the price is. If they think it'll make them feel good, look good, smell good, or if they think it'll do them some good, you know, mentally, They think it'll help them with the business. People will buy your product. So don't worry about, I know sometimes we talk about price, but if you are the one creating supply and you have a nice buzz around you and you have a audience that's kind of, hunkering for what you are selling, then you could charge whatever you want to charge. Because a lot of times, it's about the experience. It's not actually about the price of the product. So if you can create a nice supply and demand, it's sort of like, ramen noodles. There's no supply and demand for ramen noodles. You know what I mean? Not right now. But it's perfect example. This year, all of a sudden, I remember I used to walk to the store and I used to buy cans of Lysol at the Wazoo. I like Lysol. I like to spray I spray the truck, I spray my house. Lysol. I haven't seen a can of Lysol at the grocery store in 9 months. It's a crazy supply for Lysol all of a sudden. Why? Coronavirus. Not everybody and their brother's buying Lysol. And then I went to Amazon one time. I was going to buy a can of Lysol. Somebody wanted $100 for a can of Lysol. I said, you got to be fucking kidding me. But I said, you know what? Somebody's going to buy, some jack is going to buy that. And I said, it ain't going to be me, but somebody's going to buy that. $100 for a can of Lysol. You know how those people were, it was a couple jack legs in Tennessee. They went around the whole state of Tennessee, Kentucky. They bought a bunch of hand sanitizer, and they was trying to sell hand sanitizer for like $100, $125, shit like that. And finally, Amazon was like, "Nah, y'all can't do this, man. This is price gouging at its fullest." So, I mean, don't be that asshole. But you want to create a nice supply and demand. You don't want to be, that kind of vicious, because people might buy from you once, but they won't buy from you again. And you want the repeat customer, because as I don't know how many times I've said this, 100 times, I'll say it 1,000 more times. The hardest sale is the first sale. After that, things get easier. It's like when you go to Foot Locker. You know how you used to go to Foot Locker and you buy the shoes. Of course, they would come back. They would go, "Hey, you need some foot cleaner. You already bought $150 pair of shoes or whatever." So you're like, yeah, why not? Why not? So they upsell, but it's like you already bought the pair of shoes from the guy. Why not? You're gonna come back if you like the shoes or whatever. If you like the guy, you'll come back and buy more shoes from him. Buy more cleaner. So first sale is always the hardest. After that, things get a little easier. I mean, don't try to pimp them out. You don't have to sell them you don't have to call them every day and say, "Hey, I got this other thing." "Hey, I got this other thing." But if you have a new product or something like that, you can always come back to them and say, "Hey, you've been a loyal customer, yada yada yada." But you want to try to create a supply and demand. It's like I told you about this guy Ben Settle. He it's funny. Some of his books he sells. He goes, if you buy this product, send me a receipt by this time. And he's like, if you send me the receipt at 9:01, then I'm not sending you nothing. So send it to me before, and that creates a demand. He has the supply, then he has something else that he'll give you if you buy the product, a bonus or something like that. And then so you have to send him the receipt, then he'll send you the thing. But if you buy the product later on and you try to send the receipt and you don't get the bonus, so that creates supply, that creates a demand for the bonus as well. You know what I mean? So, and that helps people, that gets people to buy the first product so they can see the bonus as well. Because sometimes, I'll be honest, a lot of these people have bonuses and stuff like that, but they're crap. You know what I mean? But like Ben Settle, he has great bonuses. And some people do have good bonuses, but some people, they just have crap for bonuses. Like some people have bonuses and you can tell like it's not gonna be worth 2 nickels rubbed together, the 2 nickels you rub together with. But you just want to create if you can get, I'm not saying you have to create supply and demand all the time, because if you have product laying around, then that's great. But some items you have, if it's an item that you really want to sell for like a higher price, sometimes if you can create that supply and demand, then I say go for it. Not every product's gonna be that way. It's like the one wrestling podcast I listen to, Jim Cornette. He sells what does he sell? A burger towel. It's funny because he told a story about how when he goes to different wrestling events and everything like that, when he has to travel to these wrestling shows, he goes to Wendy's or whatever place and he orders a burger and he'll pull over or whatever. He'll get a towel, put the towel down, put the burger on the towel, and then he'll eat it that way. And so now so many people ask him, so they say, "Hey man, can I get a burger towel?" And he decided to create one. He put his face on there and he started selling burger towels. And then he's like, those burger towels have sold out. So he created a demand for a burger towel that wasn't even existing. And then he made the burger towel. And then people bought it and it sold out. So you can get that going sometimes, that's great. So supply, demand, I mean, you just, I would say hope, but there's no hope. You will have people itching to buy from you. You will, because you will be, let's move away from the supply. Let's talk about you for a second. You will be in demand after a while. The more content you produce, the more people like you, the more people attracted to you. In marketing, the better you become, the better marketer you become, the better person, marketer you become, you will be more in demand. And the more demand, and the more of a demand that you are in, the more money you will be able to produce. So don't think about the supplies, don't think about that, don't think about this, that, and the other. Think about yourself. Create a demand for you. It's like because I thought about this the other day. I was like, I was thinking, will I ever be a motivational speaker? It's like, why the F not? Why would I turn down if I get this podcast, more and more I do this podcast, more and more, the better I get at marketing, the more marketing I get, the more podcasts I get on. If I start getting on, well, when I start getting on different podcasts, and when I start speaking at different events, I'm going to position myself as a speaker. And people pay people to speak. Now, why in the hell why would you not position yourself to do that as well, Because people pay, you can get $1,000, $5,000, $10,000, $50,000 to speak. And people want to hear from you, If the more you put yourself in the demand, the more money you can make. The more money, and then you're helping people because you're sharing your story, your struggle, your whatever, your triumph, your struggle, everything. You're sharing with them. And so you are helping these people out, but you're also getting paid. So always be thinking about, how can I put myself in demand? How can I put myself more out there? And that's one thing that I struggle with in the beginning. It's like, do I want to be seen? I was like, yeah, you want to be seen, because the more you are seen, the more you are sought after, the more you are sought out, the more demand you can create for yourself. And then actually, the more demand you create for yourself, the easier it is to sell a product or whatever you are creating or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like Kim Kardashian has a demand. All these reality, not even, we'll move off Kim Kardashian. Boom. I'll tell you what, the show my wife watches, the 90 Day Fiancé. These people get on TV by the third week or whatever. They have like 50,000 followers. Now, whatever they do with that, I'm not saying all of them are going to make $1 million, but you get 50,000 followers on the Instagram, then okay, you created now it's like, what are you going to do? It's up to you to keep it going, So this is what we all want. We all want to be, because the more known you are, the more demand you create for yourself, the easier it is to sell. The hardest thing now is to, I'll give you an example. This morning, I sent out more emails. I sent out more emails. And I have like 900 names that I need. I have like 900 phone numbers and emails, and so I'm gonna do email first, text message, then phone calls. The hardest thing is for me to get people on the phone, get people, because they don't know me. But if I'm like 2 years from now, it'll be total. 2 years from now, it's gonna be totally different. It won't be, hello, hey, it's me, Tony Rosano. Help. Matter of fact, 2 years from now, I won't have to make that many phone calls. From the referrals, from the videos, people will find me. You know what I mean? People will find you after a while. So this is why I say, we all need to, let's all step out of the shadows. Let's all put ourselves in demand. Let's all position ourselves. I'm not saying you have to be phony about it. You're not being phony about it. You're putting yourself in a position. If you do videos and you start gaining success, you can say, hey, I do videos, I'm successful. Like, I can tell people right now, I could write a book right now, how to start a podcast and get listenership from scratch. I could write a book. I could do a video. I could write a story. However I wanted to. Because why? Because I have started a podcast from scratch and people listen on a regular basis. So it's not like I've done 100 videos and nobody's watching, or I've done 100 podcasts and nobody's listening. No. People are listening. More and more people every day. More and more people are listening. So I can write that book. It's just like if you start off as let's say you worked at McDonald's and you was 16 and you started off working, mopping, sweeping. Then by the time you're 30, you're like a district manager. You could write a book. You could make a video. Whatever you want to do, you could do it. So this is why I say, no matter what you do in life, you can always turn that into a story. You can always turn that into something. So this is why you always want to write everything. You always want to make notes on a daily basis. Because anything that you do, anything that has happened in your life, you could turn that into content. I know we're off the supply and demand now. Now we're just talking about yourself. Because I'm telling you, the more you put yourself in a position, the easier the selling and the telling get. It's like, because a lot of people will say, they have all these followers and stuff, and they go, oh yeah, the money's in the list. Like, yeah, that's true, but your list knows you, and you got 100,000 people. Like, of course you're gonna make money. Like, 100,000 people, and then most of the time, people, once you get up to 100,000 people on your email list, those people have sought you out. In the beginning stages, nobody's. I'm here to tell you. In the beginning stages, ain't nobody looking for you. Okay, don't nobody give a damn who you are or what you got to say. Okay, but you have to just keep going, make them listen, let people know, hey, I am here. I am, plant your flag and keep it going. And turn your thoughts, your dreams, your desires, turn them into content. Make yourself better, become a better marketer, make yourself better, and just keep going and become in demand. And things will get so much easier for you. It's like, The hardest thing is starting, and then the hardest thing is to keep going when you think nobody's listening or nobody's, it's like you're in the woods and you're screaming, but is anybody listening? Don't worry about that. Just keep going. Don't even think about none of that. Just keep going. Just keep creating the content. Every day I just keep going, because I know it's gonna work, and it's not, all shit. It's not, because I know a lot of people, they like positive thinking. It's positive thinking, but it's action at the same time. You have positive thinking, but you also, if you're not doing any action with the positive thinking, then that don't mean nothing. Then the positive thinking is just hoping and wishing. And we not here to hope, and hoping and wishing ain't doing you no good. So have the positive belief. Have the belief, yeah, I'm going to make it in this online marketing space. But at the same time, make sure you are putting action behind that positive thinking. Because without the action, then the positive thinking is just hoping and wishing. All right? That's it. Supply, demand. It's like putting yourself in demand. It's sort of like, you ever watch, or if you ever play basketball, you will know. When you boxing out somebody, you put yourself in the perfect position, You bend a little bit, you put your arms out. I'm putting my arms out for the nobody can see her, but I'm putting my arms out, and you box him out. You stick your butt out a little bit, you bend down a little bit, and then you box him out. That is like putting yourself in demand, You come in, you box them out. You say, hey, here I am. I'm an expert on yada, yada, yada. But then, the more videos you can get on, the more podcasts you can get on after a while, the easier it'll be. And of course, like I told you before, be pleasant, be yourself. You have to, ratchet up a little bit, but things will work out. But that's it for now. That's the podcast. This week, huh? We hitting them, ladies and gentlemen, all right? But anyway, as always, I wish you the best. I wish you nothing but luck. Now, you will make it. Just positivity and action. That's all that's it. Positivity, action, and consistency. You do those things, and hey, and you put a little dash of realism in it, because we all know, you're starting off something, you're not going to be a millionaire within the first week, unless you buy a scratch off, unless you hit the lottery. But with the positive, the action, and the consistency, man, you'll go far, all right? And remember, position yourself. And it's okay to sell, Selling is not a disease. Selling is not a bad thing. So you put all that into your brain, everything's gonna work out, all right? Anyway, that's it for today. That's it for this long-winded, hard-hitting podcast. My name is Tony Rizzano. And as always, we will talk to you tomorrow. And as always, peace.